Hello everyone, with Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on weather across Jamaica and the Caribbean. It is Saturday evening, June 24, 2023. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video, share, subscribe and tap the notification bell so that you'll be notified every time I post a brand new video. Feel free to leave a comment down in the comment section letting me know whether that's been liking your ear recently. Also feel free to ask any other related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. I respond to all comments and I really look for this stuff. Alright, so let us take a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening. We can still see that we have that tropical wave that's now pushed this way into portions of Central America. We can now see that we have what's left of Tropical Storm Bret now in the far south central Caribbean Sea. We can also see that we have Tropical Storm Cindy to the east of the Leeward Islands, and to the east of Cindy we have a tropical wave across the main development region. Taking a look at the visible satellite images before the sun went down, we can see the clouds associated with the tropical wave across sections of the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico, Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica. We can also see the clouds associated with what's left of Tropical Storm Bret right there to the far south of Hispaniola. We can see the clouds associated with Tropical Storm Cindy right there to the east of the Leeward Islands. And we can see the clouds of that tropical wave right there across the southern section of the main development region. Let us take a look at a close-up view of what's left of Tropical Storm Bret. So, at 5 p.m. today, according to the U.S. National Hurricane Center, it has degenerated back to an area of low pressure, so it's no longer a tropical storm. It has dissipated, and we can still see the swirl associated with its low level circulation still spinning away as it moves from east to west. And we can also see that the deep convection that's usually associated with these systems has left. All of that wind shear has blown off all of those high cold cloud tops off towards the east. That doesn't mean that we can still get some rainfall out of it. We can see all of these yellow sparkling dots. That means some amount of lightning flashes. So it might just act like a tropical wave tomorrow, bringing some amount of clouds maybe into Jamaica that's off the screen here to the north. Maybe sections of southern and eastern Jamaica maybe late tonight into early tomorrow morning. That's what some of the models are showing. We shall see exactly what unfolds. As it relates to Tropical Storm Cindy, it's still right there off to the east of the Leeward Island, moving towards the northwest at about 21 miles per hour, and it is sparking winds of about 60 miles per hour at this time. Alright, so let us take a look at the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Saturday. It was stated in yesterday's video that we would have received some rainfall across sections of eastern and northern Jamaica in the morning, and then sections of some southern parishes in the afternoon. And what ended up happening? As early as 6 a.m. a post was made on our Twitter page highlighting some greens that represent moderate rainfall and some yellows that represent maybe some strong rainfall coming into sections of some northern parishes of St. Anne, maybe Portland, St. Thomas got in on some of that rainfall this morning just as predicted. Then later on in the morning we had the visible close-up satellite images showing some clouds still coming into sections of some northern parishes and some clouds also coming into sections of some eastern parishes in Jamaica. So definitely got in on some amount of rainfall just as the models predicted. Then at about 12:05 p.m. another post was made on our Twitter page highlighting the clouds moving from east to west across the island, more of an east northeast to west southwest kind of flow today. So we definitely had those sparkling white dots that indicate some amount of lightning flashes or lightning strikes. So we indeed had some amount of isolated thunderstorms, and we indeed had some of our commenters confirming the thunder rolls and that they've been hearing across the island for today. So all of this spread from east to west across the island, with majority of it across southern parishes, as the next post that was made on our Twitter page at 2:25 p.m. highlights that we indeed had that convection build up, especially across southern Jamaica. And just like what we said yesterday, with the high cold cloud tops being pushed off towards the southeast because of the wind shear that's pushing it off towards that direction. So whatever thunderstorms that we had across the island today, they were, being blown off towards the southeast, bringing more overcast skies to some southern coastal areas. And we even had confirmation from some of our commenters, Island Gyal, stating Old Harbor Freetown rain 2 hours straight, loving it. Even on our Facebook page, we had Natalia stating raining. And then another comment on our Facebook page highlighting Angela. Angela stated that Manchester, we are having some showers. As relates to our commenters on our Instagram page, we had Akeem Reed 44 stating rain just start to fall, and even some other comments. Colin Blood raining in Old Harbor. Evables Almighty stating raining in East Kingston. AJ stating heavy rain and breeze in a Linstead, and then Cotty Libra stating rain in St. Andrew. Another commenter stating it's raining here in St. Bess. That's from Nikki Love. And was raining heavily in Bogwark from Michelle Price. So we definitely had the confirmation of that rainfall for today. And if we even take a look at the visible satellite images before the sun went down, we can see that some of these clouds spilled into sections of some northern parishes. So sections of St. Anne and sections of southern St. James might have gotten in on some of that rainfall. And even up to recording hour in the late evening hours before the sun went down, we can still see that we had a build-up of clouds bringing some isolated showers to sections of southern Westmoreland and northwestern St. Elizabeth at that time. And we indeed have the confirmation on the infrared satellite images that showed the high cold cloud tops in those spots this evening. And even if we take a look at the Doppler radar images, we can see that rainfall exiting the south coast of Westmoreland and St. Elizabeth's northwestern coast right there. So they definitely indeed got some rainfall to, close out the day. Taking a look at the accumulated precipitation for the past 24 hours from the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology, this indeed confirms the rainfall that we got. More than likely of the blues that we see across sections of northern, blues, purples that we see across sections of some northern and eastern parishes is what we experienced in the morning, just like what we predicted yesterday. Then majority of what we see on the south coast, even although it's not entirely accurate, because I even heard that many people in Kingston and St. Andrew didn't receive rain, even although we just had confirmation from some in those spots that they got rain. So it's not really 100% accurate, but it does indeed show some form of accuracy, especially considering that we saw that on the satellite images. So sections of St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine definitely indeed gotten on some amount of rainfall for today. And we see those greens that represent even up to 30 millimeters of rainfall. Even although it's not that 100% accurate, we know that it's definitely grateful. We're grateful for the rainfall indeed. Alright, so let's just take a look at temperatures for tonight. We can see that we have 27 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay and 28 degrees Celsius in Kingston. And as usual, as the night progresses, these temperatures should be getting lower. As relates to the temperature forecast for tomorrow, we can see that both the Euro and the GFS are showing that for 18D on Sunday, which is actually 1 p.m. on Sunday, we see that majority of Jamaica should be in the clear, right there, the zero. That represents average temperatures for majority of Jamaica. Even although we see some slight yellow right there that indicate at least 1 degree Celsius above average temperatures, we'll take it. We know that the average temperatures for the month of June in Jamaica is about 90 degrees Fahrenheit, and when we take a look at the thermometer, that's about the equivalent of 32.2 degrees Celsius. So if we should be receiving average temperatures or even slightly above normal temperatures tomorrow, anywhere from 32 to 33 degrees Celsius at most. Taking a look at the dry air map, we can see that the yellows on the key at the bottom represent the least amount of dry air, and the more we go towards the right, the oranges, then the reds and the whites within those reds represent the driest air. Jamaica doesn't have much in the way of dry air across the island at this time. We see the driest air right there across the northern main development region right there off the coast of Africa. As it relates to the Saharan dust forecast, we can see that 2 p.m. on Sunday still has some slight hazy weather across majority of the Caribbean, including Jamaica, with majority of the most robust dust associated with the Sahara Desert, right there across portion of the main development region, as indicated by all of those darker shades of browns. And we hope that all of that remains in that area. We don't want to see the hazy skies. We don't want to see, the hills in the distance looking all milky and white. And we don't want any of our asthmatic or allergic, conditions to be triggered by the Saharan dust. So we hope it doesn't get more robust than this. Taking a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, we can see that for the most part Jamaica should be getting anywhere from 1.5 meter wave heights or less, with the far south of the island seeing some purples that represent even up to 2 meter wave heights, and that's due to the fact that the strongest winds will be coming across those spots. Maybe some 25 knot winds that are going to be kicking up the seas, causing all of those purples that represent 2 meter wave heights. Either way, we see more of an southeasterly flow across the island for tomorrow. So we had the opposite today, where we had more of an northeasterly flow, which would have caused all of the air to pile up across southern Jamaica, where we'd have those blue shadings. So we'd have that buildup of clouds, and it's easy for the afternoon convection to take shape across sections of some southern parishes. Not tomorrow at all. Tomorrow we see that we're going to be having more of an southeasterly flow, causing all of that air to be piling up across sections of some northern and western parishes in Jamaica. So definitely some afternoon convection is in store for sections of Westmoreland, maybe St. Elizabeth, Hanover, St. James and Trelawney for sure. And we also mentioned northern parishes, so maybe sections of St. Anne and St. Mary might get in on some of that afternoon convection as well. And there is some contrasting difference in the wind shear forecast. We see that 18th on Sunday on the Euro model shows that the wind shear is going to be coming in from the southwest. On the GFS model, we see that it's going to be coming in from the northwest. Either way, whatever cumulonimbus clouds that develop because of all of this air piling up, all of the cumulus clouds becoming cumulonimbus clouds, more than likely is going to be blown off towards the east. So today we had those clouds building up and blowing off towards the southeast, just like what we predicted yesterday. More than likely it's going to be blowing off towards the east, bringing more overcast skies to some central and eastern parishes. If we take a look at the rainfall forecast, we see that as early as late tonight, this is 12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 11 p.m. Jamaica time, and we see some blues across sections of some eastern parishes right there. So maybe St. Thomas, Portland might get in on some of that rainfall late tonight. And skipping ahead to about 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 2 a.m. Jamaica time, this might actually be some of the outer bands from what's left of Tropical Storm Bret. This might be some of the clouds, the tropical wave kind of clouds across eastern Jamaica. So definitely some late night into early morning rainfall across sections of some of some of the eastern parishes in Jamaica. So maybe Portland, St. Thomas, who knows, it might even spill into sections of Kingston and St. Andrew. We see some blues right there across sections of southern Clarendon, so they might definitely get in on some amount of rain late tonight into early Sunday morning. Skipping ahead to about 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 2 p.m. Jamaica time, we see some differences on the Euro and the GFS. We see the Euro showing more blues across most parishes in Jamaica that represent rainfall, but we're looking for consensus. We're looking for what both models are showing. We're looking for the agreement, and we see the agreement across sections of some eastern parishes right there on both the Euro and the GFS models for 2 p.m. on Sunday, not to mention sections of some northern parishes. And I'm more inclined to believe what the GFS is showing, especially considering that the winds are going to be coming in from the east-southeast. So whatever clouds that build up coming in from the east-southeast, they're going to be becoming, cumulonimbus clouds in the afternoon, and then more than likely bring some afternoon convection to sections of maybe Hanover, St. James, Trelawney and St. Anne as well. And if we take a look at the accumulated precipitation forecast, we see that the most rainfall that we see in totals is about 0.51 of an inch of rainfall across eastern Jamaica. GFS is not so robust across eastern Jamaica either way. We're definitely going to be receiving rainfall from now up until 10 p.m. on Sunday, so we have some rainfall to receive. Not saying that it's going to be raining all for the next 24 hours, but there's definitely some rainfall in store for tomorrow. And we're indeed grateful for the rainfall that we're going to be receiving, considering that we're in our second rainy season, the month of June, where we usually receive up to 133 millimeters of rainfall. And we'll take all the rainfall that we can get in order to break the current hydrological drought that we're experiencing across the island, that's causing the National Water Commission to impose some restrictions. So we're grateful for the rainfall that we've received so far, and we're hoping for some more. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let's focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So we can still see that we have some leftover clouds from Bret right there across sections of the Leeward Islands. We can see a lot of clouds right there across sections of the northern section of South America. So as usual, French Guiana, Suriname, Guyana, Venezuela, Colombia, Panama as usual getting in on some rainfall. We can see some convection right there across sections of Florida, sections of Cuba as well, Haiti, Puerto Rico getting in on some amount of rainfall. And if we actually take a look at the Doppler radar images of the northeastern Caribbean, always asking, commenters are always asking, why is it that we don't see the Doppler radar images for Jamaica? That's because the Doppler radar across Jamaica has been broken for a couple of years now. Hopefully the Meteorological Service of Jamaica gets it fixed shortly, because we know the Doppler radar images actually show rainfall as opposed to satellite images that show cloud cover, and we can have cloud cover around here and not necessarily any rainfall at all. So we do indeed see the greens that represent light to moderate rainfall, and the yellows and oranges within those greens represent some deep convection, so maybe some heavy rainfall. And we see some of that across sections of Puerto Rico. We got some of that across sections of the British and US Virgin Islands. Maybe some passing showers here and there across sections of St. Martin, St. Kitts, Anguilla, Antigua and Barbuda, Guadeloupe, Dominica. Might have gotten in on some of that as well. If we take a look at the Barbados radar and areas to the west of there, we don't see much of anything happening at this time. Majority of the activity has moved off towards the west associated with Tropical Storm Bret. So Martinique, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada and Barbados are in the clear at this time. As relates to the wider view of Doppler radar images, we can see all of that heavy rain across sections of the western portions of Cuba, Florida, sections of Mexico. We can see some rainfall across sections of Guatemala, and we can see some rainfall coming into sections of French Guiana as well. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, we can see average to about slightly average temperatures across majority of the Caribbean for tomorrow, with the most above normal temperature still across sections of Mexico, Texas and the southern United States, and as you know, they're experiencing quite the heat wave at this time. Taking a look at the Saharan dust forecast, we can see that 2 p.m. on Sunday has some slight hazy weather across majority of the Caribbean, with the heaviest dust concentration across the main development region as indicated by all of those darker shades of browns. Taking a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, we can see that it's actually the remnants of Tropical Storm Bret that's going to be causing the kick up of the waves across sections of the waters to the south of Jamaica for tomorrow. This map is showing 12 p.m. on Sunday, and we see much of the same on the GFS model as well. So the fishers need to ensure that they take the necessary precautions so that they're not that drastically affected by the 2-meter wave heights or more. And we can also see the wave heights right there associated with Tropical Storm Cindy. That's where it's going to be to the northeast of the Leeward Islands at 12 p.m. on a Sunday. So they might even get up to 4 or 5 meter wave heights as well out there. Taking a look at the wind forecast, we can see that we have those 25 knot winds, especially across the waters to the south of Jamaica, associated with the remnant of Tropical Storm Bret. Not to mention all of those winds right there associated with Cindy. So it makes sense that all of those high waves are located right where the strongest winds are. If we actually take a look at the precipitation forecast, we can still see that the waters to the northeast of the Caribbean are gonna be getting in on a lot of rainfall associated with Tropical Storm Cindy. Even some purples and whites within those purples that represent up to even 6 to 8 inches of rainfall expected. Luckily no one will be affected except for maybe some ships or two. And we can also see that we have some rainfall to receive across the south central into the western Caribbean associated with Tropical Storm Bret's remnant. So it is an open low pressure at this time, so maybe it might bring some tropical wave kind of activity to sections of Jamaica late tonight into early tomorrow morning. You can also see some rainfall in store for sections of Cuba, Hispaniola, Puerto Rico, Florida, the Bahamas as usual, the Yucatan Peninsula, sections of southern Belize, Guatemala, Honduras, maybe even sections of El Salvador getting in on some of that rainfall. Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, and Panama getting in on some purples that represent some, at least 3 inches of rainfall or more. As usual, Colombia getting in on some rainfall, and Venezuela, not to mention sections of Guyana, Suriname, and French Guyana. I know that when both malls are showing much of the same thing, like what the Euro and the GFS malls are doing right now, when we have consensus like this, when we have agreement like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for